A mission of honor. Lieutenant Colonel James Harper had dedicated decades of his life to serving his country. He had endured sleepless nights in combat zones, long deployments away from his family, and the immense pressure of leading troops through life-or-death situations. Through it all, he had remained steadfast in his commitment to duty, honor, and sacrifice. But today, his mission was different. This was not about military strategy or national defense. It was about something far more personal: respect and remembrance. His solemn duty was to escort the remains of Private First Class Ryan Mitchell, a promising young soldier who had given his life in the line of duty. Ryan had barely begun his military career before he was taken too soon, and now it was Harper's responsibility to ensure that he returned home with the dignity and honor he deserved. Harper had carried many responsibilities in his lifetime, but none weighed heavier on his heart than this one. As he stepped into the crowded airport terminal, the world around him moved in a blur. Families chatting as they pulled their suitcases, businessmen shuffling through emails on their phones, children giggling as they ran ahead of their parents. It was a scene of ordinary, everyday life. But for Harper, there was nothing ordinary about this moment. His polished boots clicked against the tiled floor as he approached the airline counter, his military documents in hand. He had taken countless flights in his career, but this time, his mission was sacred. The flag-draped casket on the tarmac was more than a responsibility. It was a promise. A promise to never forget. A promise that no soldier would ever be left behind. The weight of his mission pressed heavily upon him, not just from the ribbons and medals adorning his uniform, but from the unspoken expectations of every soldier who had ever served. The airport, a place of transience and fleeting moments, was about to become an unexpected battleground for something greater than Harper had anticipated: justice. As he neared the counter, he took a deep breath. He had faced countless challenges in war zones, but he never expected the battle he was about to encounter here, on home soil, in a place where respect should have been automatic, unquestioned, and absolute. Underscore. The moment of injustice. Harper placed his military documents and ID in front of the airline agent, expecting a straightforward process. The woman behind the counter barely glanced at him before typing into her system. Then, hesitation flickered across her face. She whispered something to her colleague and turned back to Harper. "Sir, can I see that again?" she asked, her voice tight with uncertainty. Harper calmly handed over his papers once more, sensing something was amiss. The agent glanced at her co-worker, who simply shrugged. She bit her lip before delivering the words that shifted the mood in the airport terminal. "I'm sorry, sir, but there's an issue with your ticket. We can't allow you to board at this time." Silence spread through the growing line of passengers behind him. People paused, shifting their weight, sensing the tension in the air. Harper remained composed, but a spark of frustration flickered within him. "I'm escorting the remains of a fallen soldier," he said evenly, tapping the official paperwork. "Everything is in order." The agent refused to meet his gaze. "I understand, sir, but there's a security protocol in place. We can't override it." "What security protocol?" Harper questioned, his voice unwavering. A supervisor appeared, his arms crossed in a stance of bureaucratic authority. "It's policy, sir. There's nothing we can do." Passengers in line started murmuring, some pulling out their phones. The mood in the terminal shifted from passive waiting to engaged interest. Then, a strong, clear voice rang out from behind Harper. "Do you have an issue with his military clearance?" Harper turned to see an older man standing behind him, his weathered face partially obscured by a well-worn USMC hat. A Marine veteran. His piercing gaze challenged the airline employees. The supervisor hesitated. "No, sir. This isn't about clearance. It's just a security measure." The Marine scoffed. "Yeah? I've been through airports plenty of times, and I've never seen policy stop a soldier from escorting a fallen brother home." Murmurs turned into outright discontent. More passengers pulled out their phones. Cameras started recording. Fingers typed furiously, tweets and posts appearing in real time. The moment had gone viral within minutes. A young woman turned her phone toward Harper. "I'm live right now. People need to see this. As the pressure mounted, the airline employees shifted uncomfortably. The hashtag Let Him Fly began to trend on social media. The airline had officially lost control of the situation. A young man in a hoodie muttered, "This is going to blow up." Passengers weren't just recording. They were demanding answers. "Why are you stopping him?" A woman near the front asked, her voice sharp with disbelief. Another passenger stepped forward, his phone still recording. "This isn't right," he muttered, shaking his head. "We send these men and women out to fight for us, and this is how we treat them when they come home?" The tension in the terminal continued to rise. A middle-aged woman with a small child clutched her bag tighter, her eyes darting between the airline employees and the growing crowd. "He's in uniform," she whispered to her husband. "Shouldn't they be treating him with more respect?" Then a ripple effect took over. More voices joined in, their frustration mounting. "Let him through. This is outrageous. Give him his ticket." The pressure was suffocating for the airline employees. The woman behind the counter looked overwhelmed, her fingers frozen above the keyboard. The supervisor shifted uncomfortably, running a hand through his hair as if searching for a way out of this mess. Then, just as tensions peaked, a new figure entered the scene. A man in a crisp suit walked briskly to the counter, his badge flashing. Major Thomas Beckett, Department of the Army. He wasted no time. "Colonel Harper, we've been informed of the situation. You and Private Mitchell's remains will not be flying commercial. The Pentagon has arranged for a private military flight. Your transport is waiting." The crowd murmured. The military had stepped in. The airline employees shrank back. There was no more arguing, no more excuses. The airline had no choice but to stand down. Harper nodded in understanding, knowing his mission was back on course. A nation speaks up. Harper walked past the airline counter, his mission intact, but the consequences for the airline were just beginning. What had started as an isolated incident was now a national story, a conversation that would not be ignored. News networks picked up the story, spreading it across television screens and online headlines. Veterans organizations swiftly released statements condemning the airline's treatment of a service member, calling it an unacceptable insult to those who serve. Prominent voices from the military community spoke out, reminding the public that respect for fallen soldiers should never be a matter of debate or corporate policy. Then the political pressure began. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle demanded accountability. Some called for new legislation to protect service members from discrimination in civilian air travel. Others reached out to military families, offering their condolences and reassurances that such mistreatment would not go unanswered. As the outrage spread, the financial repercussions hit the airline hard. Stocks plummeted as investors panicked over the growing scandal. Thousands of customers took to social media, announcing their intentions to boycott the airline. Travelers canceled their upcoming flights, flooding customer service lines with complaints. Major corporations that had partnerships with the airline were forced to address concerns from employees and stakeholders about whether they should continue their affiliations. The backlash culminated in a lawsuit. A coalition of military advocacy groups filed formal complaints, accusing the airline of discrimination and failure to uphold protections for service members. Legal experts weighed in, predicting costly settlements and a damaged reputation that could take years to recover from. Faced with mounting pressure, the airline CEO made a rare public appearance. Standing in front of a row of reporters, he read from a prepared statement, calling the incident a regrettable misunderstanding. He announced that the employees involved had been placed on administrative leave and that the company would conduct a full internal review. However, his words did little to quell the anger. The public demanded more than an apology. They wanted real change. Yet, amid all the chaos, Harper had never sought headlines. He had never wanted controversy or public spectacle. His focus remained on the solemn duty he had undertaken, to bring Private First Class Ryan Mitchell home, to stand beside his grieving family as they received their loved one for the final time, to honor the young soldier's sacrifice with the dignity it deserved. The Marine who had spoken up in the airport, the passengers who refused to stay silent, the young woman who streamed the moment to the world. They had proven something profound. Respect shouldn't be conditional. It shouldn't require a viral video. It should be the standard. Because when people stand together, injustice has nowhere to hide. The echoes of this moment would linger far beyond the airport terminal, reminding the nation that honor is not just a word. It is an action, a promise that must be upheld. The power of unity is undeniable. When people choose to speak out against injustice, they create ripples that force accountability, sending a clear message that fairness and respect must be upheld in every corner of society. This moment, captured and broadcast to millions, wasn't just about one officer or one fallen soldier. It was about a nation demanding better, about a people refusing to let wrongdoing be swept under the rug. The act of standing together in the face of injustice is a testament to the strength of collective action. Every phone raised, every voice that called out, and every post shared contributed to a movement that would not be ignored. What had begun as an isolated incident in an airport transformed into a catalyst for national dialogue, bringing attention to the treatment of military personnel and igniting conversations on accountability within corporate policies. People from all walks of life rallied behind the message. Social media platforms buzzed with messages of solidarity. News stations covered the event extensively, and respected leaders within the military community weighed in, emphasizing the significance of ensuring respect for those who serve. This wasn't just about one moment. It was about reinforcing the values that define a nation. With every retweet, every article published, and every news segment aired, the impact of this moment continued to expand. It became a reminder that change is possible when people refuse to stand idly by. This wasn't just about a policy mistake or a public relations crisis for an airline. It was about a society recognizing its responsibility to uphold dignity and fairness. The voices that rose in that terminal had now reached far beyond those airport walls, echoing into homes, workplaces, and communities, making sure that the next time such a situation arose, the response would be different, immediate, and just. If you believe in honoring those who serve, if you stand for accountability, let your voice be heard. Share this story. Support those who dedicate their lives to protecting freedom. And never let silence be the reason injustice thrives. Lessons learned from the story. 1. Respect is not a privilege, it's a given. Those who have served their country, especially fallen soldiers, deserve unconditional respect. This respect should not be situational or conditional. It should be a standard in society. 2. Unity has the power to create change. If Harper had been alone, he might have had no choice but to accept this injustice. But thanks to the voices of those who stood up for him, the situation changed. This proves that when we stand up for what's right, we can make a. 3. The power of technology and social media. In today's digital age, one small action, recording a video or posting on social media, can expose the truth and force those in power to take action. 4. Integrity and perseverance will always prevail. Harper didn't have to raise his voice or lose his composure. He simply stood firm, defended the truth, and in the end, his integrity won. Personal perspective on the story. This story isn't just about a denied flight or an isolated incident. It's a reflection of a larger reality in our society. Injustice exists, but it can be defeated when we stand together. It's proof that justice will prevail when courageous people refuse to stay silent, when they use their voices to defend what's right. If everyone had ignored the situation, this story might have had a very different ending. But because people took a stand, spoke up, and took action, the truth could not be hidden. We shouldn't just see this as an emotional story. We should take it as a reminder that whenever we witness something unjust, we must not stay silent. We must speak up, take action, and fight for a fair society. If you believe in justice, respect, and standing up for what's right, help spread this message. Follow and subscribe to Toch Story today to never miss inspiring and meaningful stories like this. Each video not only tells a compelling story, but also delivers valuable lessons about life, kindness, and social responsibility. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated with the latest videos from Toch Story. Thank you for watching. Let's share this and spread positive values together.